Hi everyone, welcome to the Spiritual Society podcast. I am Zeta.
And I'm Mariam.
And thank you guys so much for tuning in. This podcast is dedicated to helping you merge the spiritual world with your reality.
And in today's episode, we will talk about the art of believing in yourself, manifesting and glowing up. And overall leveling up to the person who you are meant to be.
And this is one of my favorite topics actually, because it really does carry out a very motivational aspect of life, and how a positive mindset,
such a vibe,
can really actually lift you up and actually, benefit not only you but also your future and your own well-being. So
let's talk about what is manifestation and why it's not this woo-woo concept that people often misconceive it to be.
Yeah.
It's so normal, right?
It's literally happening all around you already. A lot of the time you don't even see it, you don't even realize that you're doing it, but because your thoughts and your actions are aligned, you're already bringing that result in. And
yes,
a lot of people do think it's woo-woo. I'm not gonna lie. I've never heard of this woo-woo term before, but I'm gonna use it because it's true.
Never?
No, so I'm excited.
I hear it all the time. Maybe
I like new words.
I don't think that's a good thing if I'm hearing it a lot. Maybe people are calling me that. People aren't calling you that.
No, but it's true. I think a lot of the time it actually links in very nicely with the topic, because a lot of the time when you tell people, I'm trying to manifest this is what I want to do, people do think that you're absolutely crazy. And that's another thing that we want to talk about on this as well, is how to kind of manifest in the face of criticism. I've got some good experience with this as well, and I've made it through, so I think I can bring a lot of tips into that. But manifestation is happening whether you like it or not. It's good, it's bad, it's whatever your thoughts are, really, whatever you're heading down.
I mean, I think people don't like this whole understanding because they feel like you have to always be on top of what you're attracting, and it's a sense of control, but it's not like that. It's more about trusting,
of course,
and letting go of that control, and believing that whatever does manifest is aligned to you and who you are as a person. Because that's what people find probably off-putting about it, because it's you have to control what you're attracting, and then you have to manifest and and it's really not this intense process if you're doing it.
In fact, it's probably the opposite of that. You have to release a lot of control when it comes down to manifesting, and I think that's something that people do struggle with, and the thing
when you've
why they
released
don't like to manifest, because one, they're worried that what they're manifesting, they don't trust themselves enough to work towards it, and they feel like even if they do put all the hard work in, it's not going to happen, so people steer clear of that. I know a lot of people who are like that, but other people, I don't know, they just don't want to work towards certain things. They like to see what comes their way, what's easy, and I think that's a big problem. So if you are manifesting and you do have people around you, by the way, who are like this, steer clear of their opinions. If you truly believe that what you're doing is right and that you are able to manifest and bring something to life,
protect your manifestation.
100%. That's a good word, protect it, because you'll find a lot of people who will go against you, and in fact that's a good sign. I always saw that as a good sign. I'm gonna show you, it was a really good, if you see it in a positive light, that it means that you're doing something right, then I think you're doing good.
You're on such a good path already. So how to manifest? I think I know there's loads of rituals for manifesting things, and it's quite popular now, but I don't feel like there's one set way to manifest, and it's different for everyone. There's also not a lot of process to it. It's such a natural thing.
I think it's different, as you said, it's different for everyone, so it just means it's such a universal thing.
And whatever ritual there is designed to put you in that mode of, okay, I'm manifesting.
A sense of self-belief.
But structure, right? But manifesting is literally prayers. If you pray to God for something, you are trying to bring that into your reality. That is manifestation. It's not this bizarre concept. And even with how to manifest, because bad things happen all the time to everyone, right? This is the world. Everyone's energy can go up and down based on where they are, but I suppose the goal of life and with manifesting is whatever happens, you can ground yourself and face that in that moment and not lose it. That's what the goal is. The goal isn't to just live a stress-free life and in this la la land, right? because that's not possible. So in terms of like how to actually manifest, it's different for everyone. Have you like ever done an actual ritual though, like vision board or
I've done
like
vision
that?
boards.
They're very popular.
I've done vision boards. I know people do things like actual like candlelight rituals, which I've never actually tried myself. I probably should. Certain prayers as well.
It's weird because like at church we literally light a candle when we say a prayer, so it's like that is like almost a ritual for your prayer, like to manifest. It's so like universal, and we always do these things, but we don't really see it in that way.
Actually sometimes I realize I do, whenever I light a candle I do set intention with it, but I never realized that I'm doing it.
It's just so natural. It's
true.
so natural. So that's why like when people put pressure on this whole manifestation process, it just doesn't, it's not normal, because it's part of our being as like humans is to create our reality and to have fun with it,
of course. And I think as long as you are in alignment with it anyways, as long as you're building the structure up for, you know, the universe to step in, for spirit to step in to make it reality. Like you have to make sure that there's an equal give and take in that. And it actually leads us to a couple of questions that are quite popular, and both are the opposite to each other, of different ends of how to manifest. We've both actually heard a few people who have said to us in the past about, what is manifestation though? Isn't that just what's going to happen anyways because you're working towards it?
And it's what you're thinking, and if you're thinking something, you're going to do it.
Makes sense.
And that is true. Obviously it's common sense. Like if you're thinking a certain way, you are going to do things a certain way. But what do you think actually triggers the way you think? It's going to be the energy around you and the energy that you feed into yourself. And people don't realize like how much external things can influence you, and how connected you are to energies. So that is so important to be aware of that, to understand how things manifest, because even when you are manifesting for yourself, it's your feelings that you put into it and how you feel. You have to feel like it's happening.
Of course, that's what actually makes it come to life. Like you have to like breathe life into what it is as well. And when people ask me like, you're kind of taking action towards that already, like you don't even need belief for it to happen. I'm like, no, that's not how it goes. You need belief in what you're doing. I've seen so many people run themselves dry because they're stressing over something that they're trying to bring to life. They're putting all the hard work into it, which I'll give them that they are. But because they're not believing in it, they're not actually seeing the results. They're looking at it in a lack perspective. So they're attracting nothing back, which is where the belief system comes in. So action taking, they get a big tick in the box because they're doing that part of it right, but the belief bit is unticked because it's just not there. And that's why it's kind of like a perfect ingredient. It's like a recipe. Oh my god, I'm getting hungry. It's like a recipe, but if you have action taking and add belief on top of it, it actually makes this really, really powerful combination of not only your manifestation coming to life, but you feeling good about it. Like you end up glowing because not only do you believe it, you're seeing it as well. You're also taking action and you're aligned to it as well. So I just think it's like the perfect combination of both. And the same with the opposite of people who are believing in it and send me emails, or I get it in my comment section a lot on my YouTube channel, like, you know what, I'm believing in it, it's going to be coming, but where is it? It's not coming my way.
Part of believing in it is also trusting it, and when you trust it, like, that is done, it's done already. You don't need to revisit it, you don't need to keep going back to it, because people like I feel like people confuse the process with especially with praying, for instance, with like God. Because I know loads of people who don't really follow it in this way, where they trust God. Because if bad things can happen to you, right, which they happen to everyone, why can't good things happen?
Of course.
We almost find it easier for and we're open for bad things to happen and manifest rather than good things. Before a bad thing happens, you imagine how it's gonna feel, you feel it in your being like it's gonna happen, and then it happens, and then you're not even surprised, but you're like, oh my god, I knew this was gonna happen. And it was gonna happen because you manifested it. But why is it so hard for us to do it for good things that will serve us? It's because we most of the time don't feel like we are valuable enough and worth it, like, for it to happen to us. And that roots back, like we've mentioned it in almost every episode now, but into our childhood.
It's true. Like, you need to really look at your self-talk and talk that you was like literally imprinted in, like, when you was younger. Important. What did your parents say to you? Like, I can speak for myself when I say that my parents weren't very supportive growing up, and it really, not to blame them for my own
everyone's
mindset,
family
but as a teenager,
has this kind of dynamic.
I was so insecure about me as a person. I didn't think that I believed or like deserved anything. Like, I would have my hopes and dreams, but I never expected much from life because I never really got taught to dream big, think big, and in fact every time I did I got put back down. So it really did actually affect my life, and I didn't see any growth in myself within that time until I figured my own way out and figured out that I am worthy and I am capable.
And that's when you manifest
things. And that's when I actually, it's true, because I then got, you know, some amazing opportunities that came my way. So having your own self-value is so important, and I could not agree with you enough, Mariam, because it just is a big part of that recipe that we're talking about when it comes down to how to manifest, really. I would also say that belief is so needed, is so needed. And even if you have the belief, you also need to set the structure. And that structure is just as important as the belief. If you are believing in it, but you're sitting on a couch and you're waiting for a loved one to come through, no one's going to knock on your door or ask for your number or ask to take you out on a date or, you know, wine and dine you, whatever it is that you like. That's just not going to happen. It's not realistic enough. You need to balance your spiritual beliefs of what you know can happen, because everything's limitless, and you also need to be a bit realistic about how to make that happen. And we were saying before we even started this, we always have these discussions about, like, it's kind of like having a plant. You know, when you plant the seed, you have to make sure that the environment is good, otherwise that seed's just not going to grow. And it's, you know, that manifestation, if it's a metaphor for that, it's just not going to work out the way that you want it to. You have to make sure your external surroundings is, you know, catering to the seed, to the manifestation. And also plants actually is a good example, because plants can actually hear your thoughts. Did you know that?
I love plants. Yes, I talk to my plants.
Oh, okay.
By the way,
I'm glad I'm not the only one here. It's so important. Yeah, they can hear your thoughts. Actually, there was a nice little sign. That's scientifically proven, by the way, before we get any.
Yeah, right. It was like two
people
plants.
Thinking we're absolutely stupid.
Did we look at the same thing? It was two plants, and they said, like, I love you to one and I hate you to one. And
and
I
one
hate you, one died.
Blossomed. Yeah.
It's, imagine if that's happening to plants, like us doing that to ourselves.
Yeah, well, exactly.
Or to other people. Like, isn't that a bit mad? But we're not taught this in school.
No.
And we're not. This isn't raised to our, like, awareness. We just have to discover this ourselves, and that's why it's so important to just be so mindful of that. And that structure that you're saying is the structure that you're creating to receive, of course, what you're asking for. If you have no structure, and structure just means like even the small things that you're doing to hint that you are going to receive, and you believe you are going to receive. Those are so important for your subconscious mind.
It shows that you're ready for it too.
Like, it's imprinting that you know it's coming. It's already here.
It's easy to say, I'm ready. But if you're not actually ready, the universe isn't bringing it to you. So if you do feel,
there's always
listening
blockages.
To this, if you do feel as though there is blockages, or that, you know, you've been saying that you're ready for ages and nothing's happened, and really actually take a little look and see, are you actually ready? There was actually a video that I was watching on YouTube like a very long time back when I was into just motivational stuff. It was from Steve Harvey, and he was mentioning his own story about how he was saying to his mom back in the day he's going to get a nice car, better than the one that he had, but his one was still on the porch. He never drove that. I think he said it was like piled up on these like bricks. He never drove it, or he never took it off the driveway. And he said to his mom, like, I'm going to get a nice car. I'm going to get a new car. It's going to be mine. And she was like, no, you're not. No, you're not going to. And he was like, well, why are you saying that to me? And she was like, well, because your old one's still there. And like, he carried on thinking, well, I'm going to show her. I'm going to make sure she sees that I'm going to get this new car. It wasn't until he actually listened to her and got rid of the car.
Oh my goodness.
I think he sold it or something. And then all of a sudden, the perfect car that he wanted actually came. And he had the opportunity to get it. And that was a new car in the driveway. So his manifestation came to life. But the whole time he thought he was ready for it, it wasn't coming in, was because he still had something blocking the way. So I think it's so important to understand, like, what is actually blocking you.
And physical things are usually blockages, because in our mind, on our subconscious level, they make an imprint in a way where we're not even aware, but they symbolize something so much deeper than just an object.
Yeah.
It symbolizes like your inability to let go and make space for new things.
Because it's uncomfortable. It's so uncomfortable. And this situation is very similar to people who are in jobs that aren't right for them and aren't providing any growth, but they're so scared that if they let go of that, what if I know something can come my way if I let go of this, but what exactly is going to come my way? And is it going to be the thing that I want? Yeah. And I've been around that. And in fact, that happened to me. Happened to me actually when I was first in my hairdressing career. And I liked it. I just knew I wasn't going to be able to grow in it as much as I would like to. I have always had a desire to help people. And as much as hair was providing people with confidence, I loved it. You know, I love people walking out the salon feeling happy.
I find it really cringe when you walk out of a salon and your hair looks really good.
And it's just like, oh, look, maybe too glam.
Yeah, like just to be on the street, like what the heck? And your clothes always, like, they don't match with like your hair. I find it cringe. I don't know why. Have you ever cut someone's hair and they didn't like it and you could tell, but they didn't say anything?
No.
Because I've that's happened to me where like a hairdresser's cut my hair and I fucking hated it.
Oh no.
And I'm just like, yeah, I love it. It's so nice. Go home, stop crying. Yeah.
No.
Has that ever happened to you?
No. I'm so glad it didn't.
Maybe, do you think you would have picked up on it?
I would have definitely picked up on it. Maybe I'm saying it for my own comfort reasons, because I think if that happened to me, I would have quit my job straight away.
Well, you did eventually. So.
I did. I think I left that just so I wouldn't get a client who did that.
Because I find it quite traumatic. Do you know what I'm talking about? Has that happened to you?
I know it. Yeah, always. Oh my god, I know this is completely off topic, but I literally I went into the salon and I was like, look, do whatever. You're the professional. I just want it to look nicer than it does now.
Oh my god, why are we so trusting?
They bleached my whole scalp and added dark highlights to it, like dark black highlights. I literally looked like a skunk when I walked out. I was like, no. I looked at my mom. I was like, you know the meme. Oh no.
I need to see this picture. Oh my god.
No way. That so actually got deleted. That's not a part of my history anymore. It's only a vivid memory. But
yeah, what were you saying?
When I was in hairdressing, it was a comfortable job. It was a steady paycheck every single month, but I knew I wanted to do something different. And at this time, I was still dabbling around with YouTube. I tried to do that actually alongside my job, but because it was so time consuming, my hairdressing career, I just didn't have any time or energy to do tarot readings on my YouTube channel afterwards. And obviously I was sharing a room with my sister at this point, so whenever I came back after work, she'd be asleep, but she'd be in a room. She wouldn't want to move out of the room for me to record, so it just provided a lot of difficulty. So I just knew, okay, in order to pursue that dream of yours, to be on YouTube, to do tarot readings on YouTube, and to reach an audience like that, and to help people that way, and to build your own business, you have to come out of your hairdressing job and do that. And I was literally contemplating it for like so many months, and then I realized, why am I still here? Like, I was like, I have the idea, I kind of know what I'm doing, I know how to make it work, but I had an issue with letting it go because it was a stable paycheck. I knew the moment I let go of that, I would have, months on end of where I can't guarantee my own paycheck like every single month. And actually, it was the first few months I didn't like get any money. I didn't get anything. I think I had a few friends here and there who actually paid for my services, and I was like, I'm so grateful for you, because these are my bills I have to pay. Like, I really appreciate you. Nice. So I had to go through such a really difficult time, but because I had that belief that it was going to happen, because I've made this sacrifice of my comfort zone. Yeah, and I've built this new structure for myself, that I just knew it was going to happen. Like, I was so at peace with the idea. I just trusted in it. And now look, and this is a very big manifestation, I think, since that time. It's been a year since that actually happened, and I've got 44k. I reached 44,000 subscribers today, so it works. But again, I had to let go of that job for that to happen. Otherwise, I would stay in the same thing, and that manifestation would not come to light, because I believed it would work, but I wasn't taking action. So I think it's just so important to understand that sometimes you have to get rid of something that's taking up the space and leave space for spirit to step in. I just think that's really important.
Because if you think about what doesn't serve you, that is what needs to go.
Yeah.
That is literally, if you ever wonder, like, how can I change my life? Like, how can I go towards what I want to manifest? Just look at what doesn't serve you, whether it's people, whether it's like your job, even if it's things in your house, like that you don't use. Those are blockages. Yeah,
and you have to actually have a discussion with yourself, because it's never easy to let something go. You gotta sit there with yourself and go, okay, the people I have around me aren't great right now. I really would like better friends or better, you know, people around me, you have to go, okay, I'm going to need to remove these people because I know they're bad. I'm not going to hold on to them because I'm lonely, because I need their company. You have to understand why you're holding on to them, which if you don't like them, it's purely that. And go, okay, I might spend a few months or, you know, years alone, but that's better than being around people who aren't right for me. And, you know, and you're not settle, because when you're settling, you're not going to get any better than what you're settling for in any areas of your life. So I think it's just so important to just accept those few months alone, those few months of difficulty in order for your growth. I just think it's, I call it like a bit of like a sacrifice for something better to come in. You've got to let something go and accept the difficulty for something great to come in. But it's always worth it though. If it's a divine manifestation. It's part of life.
It's part of life. That's one thing that I've realized. The closer that I've felt to God, the universe, you know, God, universe, I see as the same. The less I've felt the need to fixate on things that don't serve me. And when you do that, your manifestations come to life so easily and quickly. And it's sometimes it's like, whoa, like slow down, like, okay, I get it, okay, right? It's really strange. And, you know, people think manifestations, when they do happen, it's so profound, but it's not. It just feels so normal and natural, and it's quite startling how it happens, right?
Because you're just like, whoa, I believed in it and it's here. It's like, whoa, it actually worked. It feels like a magic trick.
It's like you can't process it. Like it's so strange. And it's almost like a weird filter of you seeing it, but then you looking at it from a different perspective. Does that make sense?
I know exactly what you mean. I know exactly what you mean.
That's the best way to put it.
It's strange, actually. I like that though. And I really advise everyone. I've been doing this a lot more recently, of let go of the comfort zone and just, you know, run headfirst into fear. Because a lot of the time, all that we're fearing in those situations is just uncomfortable situations that we are new to.
And being independent as well. People fear being alone and not depending on someone else. Never depend on anyone.
But if you can't depend on yourself, then you feel like you're unreliable, and that needs to change. That is a fault in your own way of looking at yourself. So that needs some healing if that is the case. You've got to learn to love yourself. You've got to learn to trust yourself. And if not, if you don't feel like you are reliable, then work on that. You can't continue the rest of your life seeing yourself in that way. If you acknowledge it, that's the best part. That's the first step. The rest of it is just working towards bettering that part of yourself.
And all I can say is, in terms of bettering yourself, you will manifest everything that you need to better yourself if you are ready to receive it.
Exactly.
Right?
I love that. You are, yes, right. So we're going to go to a couple of the questions that we pulled out from the email. So thank you guys so much for sending these in. The first one is asking for tips to stop paranoia of manifesting negative realities, how to stop overthinking, and how to quiet the mind. First thing I would say, it seems like some meditation is very much needed in order to pull you back into a grounded energy. The only reason why a fear or paranoia of manifesting something negative, where would you think that comes from?
I can actually talk a lot about this because I can relate to it, especially recently. I started an Etsy store. I had an idea and I just wanted to see how it would go. And I was very paranoid of my point of attraction in terms of just seeing what would happen. Because, you know, when you're manifesting something, you don't know how it's going to go, right? Because number one, you don't know if that's even going to serve you or if it aligns to you. So my advice would be, especially with my experience with Etsy, would be to just cross out any expectations whatsoever, because that is where your paranoia comes from. Like, I had an idea for Etsy. It actually came from a fun place in my heart of like wanting to do something for fun and love and just to be a bit creative. But then I realized the more I put pressure on this idea that I saw in such a childlike way, like just to have fun, the energy really changed around what I was doing. And that was just so unpleasant, and that's not the point of life. Like, you're not supposed to live life like that.
It's like, enjoy the journey. I think when you're so fixated on the outcome, right, and again your expectations, like, you do cause a lot more stress on yourself. And if anything, that paranoia is also kind of leading you towards a lack perspective again. So you are going to be pulling in the wrong kinds of things. But As long as you are centered and focused and just enjoy the journey of what it is rather than the outcome, then that really helps not only your happiness, but it also will prevent the paranoia from coming in as well.
Yeah,
as
and
well as the overthinking.
Of course, if you're doing something out of love and fun and like to help someone, or you know, to be creative because you enjoy doing what you're doing, that's all there is to it. There is nothing else that you need to tie to it in terms of paranoia. It will align on its own. And I would suggest, like, based on my experience and what we've spoken about, is to have some sort of structure to allow like good manifestations to take place. Like with my Etsy store, which very like small scale, by the way, but
not for long. That's where the manifestation comes in.
Yeah, of course. Like, I think you should always try any idea that comes to your mind that you feel really drawn to. But yeah, in terms of like the how that went, I thought, okay, in terms of manifesting, if I like, I have boxes for my stock, so if I put the boxes all out, will they sell? Yeah, they will, because I'm ready to pack the orders and send them. Whereas if they're all closed, I'm not inviting that energy to sell them. Ooh, so honestly, like part of and before I was doing this, I was very, very paranoid about what would happen with it. And even though it was just such a small idea that I was doing for fun, sometimes you just get really paranoid because it's in our nature, because we want to control things. But if we just like let go of that control, think rationally, and try to invite this energy and positivity instead of trying to control it, that's when you will quiet your mind and you will bring yourself peace, because you are so prepared for it to happen that it almost has no choice but to happen, right? And you see that in a trustworthy way, and in a trusting way. You're not putting pressure on it. You're just ready to receive it.
It's true. And I can kind of relate in a way of, I have a very overactive mind and my brain can kind of spiral outside of control. You have to really understand, like, I'm in control of my thoughts. And a lot of the times you need to step out of your thought process and take action rather than thinking about it. Because a lot of the time, every time I've been thinking, what's going to happen? Is this going to happen? What if this happens?
Are you
instead?
Even ready to receive what you want to happen?
Instead, I just go, okay, my brain's been a little bit frazzled. I'm just going to do. And if I like write an email that day that I need to send out, if I'm whatever is in alignment with your manifestation, say for example, it's, you know, starting a YouTube channel. Like, that's the only thing I can really think of right now. If you are wanting to do that and you have a paranoia that people aren't going to like the content that you're bringing out there, people are going to send hate comments or whatever it is that you're paranoid about, or that the fact that it's just not going to work out. Okay, my brain's going a little bit crazy right now. Let me just do the account first and I'll worry about the rest of it later. Like, that's what I always say. What can I do now to kind of come out of my brain for a second whilst that recalibrates? And by starting that YouTube channel, or again, whatever it is that you're doing, just starting that to begin with and just doing the first steps is going to be something that actually helps your brain settle out a little bit better, and it helps you kind of how can I say, like, ground yourself with it, because sometimes we can fly high with our thoughts when we aren't being grounded by the action. So yeah, I try to balance those out as best as you could.
Defo need a balance to quiet the mind, because the mind can just get really carried away.
Yeah, my brain kind of like has a conversation with itself if I'm not careful.
Like, have you ever had a breakdown from just thinking?
Yeah, and I have to literally go, no.
Yeah, like, that's not even real. Like, come back down. Like, that's not real, and that's anxiety, and that's when you're in a place of you just want control, and you're not trusting the God process, and the universe and the process when you're in this paranoid state. So I feel like people should not normalize feeling paranoid and stressed out, because it's not healthy, and it puts so much strain on your health as well.
Yeah, 100%. I used to get so many bad headaches whenever I used to think too much. Okay, so the next question we have says, I'm reaching out for tips on how to stay in an abundant mindset when people in your environment are dragging you down, during times when people are taking from you, and when certain situations are out of your control. So I can actually speak a lot about this, just because through, again, I'm going to link it back. You guys are going to get sick of me saying this, but my YouTube channel is something I'm very proud of.
You can say that a million flipping times.
Because everyone was against me. You should have heard the things that I got told when I was telling people that I was like going to quit my job and start YouTube. People thought I was absolutely crazy. People said, you think that's going to work? People are going to watch tarot online?
But why are people so like adamant
so
to be like
structured in the 9 to 5?
But if someone, hold on though, if there's loads of people who already do YouTube and they're successful, why can't you do it?
Because people have a thing of thinking that they forget that these people are human too. Like, people kind of idolize these people who are successful and people who are millionaires and think it's impossible. And actually, if you again build that structure, it's very much possible. If you believe it's going to happen, you take the action towards it. What's stopping it from happening?
And in a way, it's like, even starting your YouTube and like how you started posting, whatever, you're creating that structure to receive that abundance.
And I was open to it. I was like, I'm ready whenever you want to kick in here, universe, whenever you want to give me,
you know, subscribers.
I was like, I'm ready for it too. You know, I need some money now, but it's okay. You take your time.
And you just trust it and you're doing it from fun.
Yeah, it's true. And then, you know, I was even grateful for the small things too. Like when I had like £20, like for a month's worth of money, I was like, yes, thank you so much. It's better than zero.
Bless you.
I was like, at least I have something. And I think just that mindset makes all the difference, because it means that the journey isn't as stressful as you want it to be. Like, not want it to be, but sometimes it's so easy to fall into the stress category of like, £20, that's not it. Like, what do other people think of that? Like, when I first told my dad was my biggest enemy when I first started this, because he could not comprehend, 1, tarot, 2, doing it online. How's that even work? He was so confused, and he actually like really slated me for it. And, you know, he didn't even want to speak to me. He was like, what are you going to do? How's that even a job? Like, whenever he brought it up, you can see his stress, like, levels. Goodness. Like, I swear his vein was popping out his forehead at one point. He just couldn't understand it. But the thing is, he didn't need to. And I think for this question in particular, like, understanding that these people will not get you.
And that's okay.
And that's fine.
That's perfectly fine.
As long as you believe in yourself. Like, I had done the research for this, and I had looked into it myself. I saw it was totally possible, but these people didn't do the research. They're not likely to. So I think within this, it's really to understand that you have a very different perspective from these other people, and to kind of understand where they're looking from. Like my dad, for example, he came from a very limited background, as have I, but he hasn't seemed to got himself out of that, and he hasn't healed that. So he thinks
I think generational not everything
wise, is 100%.
We're the generation that's healing from all this, because we're really seeing, you know, the possibilities
of what's
happening around us.
Do you see how many millionaires there are, like, of like youthful people online, just through like selling digital marketing stuff or whatever it is that you want to go into, like whatever your dreams are? There's so much more opportunity now than ever before.
We have like a door of opportunity. It's just huge. About opening it and not fearing it. And part of that is not caring what anyone is saying. It's really difficult, like when it comes from your environment, but that is part of that journey, because the moment that doesn't trigger you anymore, that's when you've gone to the next level.
That is powerful stuff. I mean, you are indestructible when that happens. Like, I felt on top of the world when that happened to me. I kind of could see myself as like having this really huge bubble around me. Like, nothing could penetrate my like field of peace. And I think it's so important to just let those comments just bounce off the bubble here. They can't pop the bubble unless
it's gonna happen until it stops triggering you.
It's true.
It's going to keep happening, and it will happen from family, from friends, from anyone close to you. But until you're over it and you bless it and you're like, okay, well, it's not gonna affect me, I'm still gonna do my thing, that's when that will just fall back on its own, and you will get like the progress that you deserve. And people need to embrace that part of their journey, because, you know, it's not a smooth sailing, you know, like it's transformation.
True, like, it's hard. It's very difficult, and the stress will get to you from some time. And some people will say things that are kind of like, "Whoa, that was like really. Why would you say something like that?" But at the end of the day, someone else's opinion of what you're trying to bring to life isn't actually the outcome of it. That the outcome is what you put in and what you believe. Like, their manifestations on you does not count. It does not matter.
And part of manifesting is accepting that things aren't in your control.
And that there will be people who don't agree, who don't see it the same way. But that again doesn't stop you from shining. It doesn't stop you from being successful. So I would try to focus on your inner peace, and obviously loving yourself, so that you aren't looking for it in these people.
And blessing these people, you know, we need to bless our triggers and not allow them to take over any mental space and hold resentment towards people, because people just think things based on what they know and their triggers and their patterns, and we can't internalize that and be personal to that, because we're not serving ourselves by doing that.
And if it helps, like literally sitting with yourself and going, okay, why would this person say something like that?
Yeah, do you do that? Really, I do that all the time.
Like, I get it. Like, I see why you would do something like that. I see why you'd say it. I would personally not do that. Yeah. But I understand why you do it. And a lot of the time, the people who are dragging you down never had that support themselves, and this is how they view how they should treat other people, which
they think it's acceptable.
It's not the case
like that. Yeah.
But at the same time, to stop you from being affected by it, it's so important to just understand
and
why they are.
Always bless
it, and just keep going and keep shining and keep doing you and keep succeeding, because you will. Yes. You really, really will.
Yes.
Okay, so that is all from us. We hope you have an amazing day, and thank you guys so much for tuning in.
Thank you so much. This was such a fun episode.
I loved it. We'll have to do another part 2 of this. I love manifesting, and I love, like, we probably should do some more things about, like, how... but yeah, the ultimate value, the content within this is really to understand, like, you are the creator of your own reality, and in order to be the best version of you have to believe in it too.
We'll have more energy breakdowns and more examples of manifestation stories as well. We're so excited. We have so much planned. And thank you for listening to this one, and we will be with you guys soon.
We will see you guys very soon.
Well, we're not going to see anyone.
Yeah, okay. Well, we'll speak to you guys very soon. Thank you guys for listening. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.